Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
I bring you good tidings in which you cannot resist. Happy New Month. This is the first day, Thursday, 1st of February, year 2024. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this program, the first one for this month. Thank you for staying with us all through January, but this is the new month, and we are starting with God, with you today. Femi Ojo is my name. We are very happy to have you join us. A Morning Spring, where we look and we talk about critical issues, topical ones as well, but they are issues of public importance. That's what we do here on this program every weekday. Today promises to be very exciting because we'll be talking about something that affects you and I. That's just the way it is. We'll start with the papers, and it's after that that we start the conversation. We took opinions with critical stakeholders on each sector or each topic in which we are discussing. We are Star Times, channel 190, talking about Western Spring Television, and on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. Thank you for joining us. Happy New Month, Evelyn.
Happy New Month, Femi. It's a beautiful beginning. We are thankful to God for the gift of life.
Right.
It is February already, and we are here to look out for what it holds for us. 29 days, remember that this year, 2024, is a leap year. And I say congratulations to those whose birthday is on the 29th of February. You get to see your day this year. Congratulations to you. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei, and I am super delighted to have you on board this morning.
Very right. You know, the beginning of the month, just like any other day, by the way, but being the beginning comes with expectations.
Yes.
Hope. Not talking about renewed hope now, the real hope. and you know, well wishes. And so we wish us all the best. Do all you can. Whatever you couldn't achieve in January, today gives you another opportunity to give it a shot. No, there is really no reason for you to be depressed or for you to just be there whining, sulking, and bitter. Yes, life happens. But then so you chin up, your shoulders high, give it a shot again, and then you might just be moving closer to whatever you want or just hinging it. Talking about Nigeria, our beloved, very beloved, dear nation of good people, which has given us this great nation in which we have found ourselves. It's quite interesting to know and note that EFCC came out yesterday to say that the religious group, you know, or sect that are involved in money laundering for terrorists. And Evelyn, you believe with me that it's not one thing that should not be glossed over. Money laundering is a criminal act on its own. Now, when you learn that this money laundering is being done to power terrorist activities, then it becomes more worrisome. And that's coming from Olaukoyede himself. That's the chairman of the FCC. So these are not conjectures of anybody. We should be worried.
We should indeed be worried, and I think this is the time, we are at a time in this country where we need to actually move past pattern religious leaders or religious organizations, even traditional rulers. I know that they are the custodians of our culture, but over the years we have had allegations against this group on what they do as regards to politics. You know, during elections, a lot of people talk about how these traditional rulers, religious leaders used to perpetrate, you know, electoral malpractices and all of that. So I think it's high time we moved past petting or caressing these traditional rulers and religious leaders. This is Nigeria. Our country is at the brink of a collapse right now. It is hanging on just one thread. So I think we need to do all that we can. You know, when he was speaking yesterday, he said some monies were traced to some religious sect, and this religious sect got an injunction
Went to court,
restraining them from going further with the investigations or arresting them. And I wonder, what really kind of country do we have when investigations are ongoing and a court is restraining the EFCC, not talking about any other organization, the Economic, Financial and Crimes Commission, to actually stop them from investigating this sect?
You know, sometimes it depends. One might want to say, didn't the judge or the justice hear that, the judiciary or whatever? But then they will say, it depends on the case you are presenting.
It is what you present to the
so
judge.
the restraining order, we're not opportune to see the detail. So maybe it might be a case of restraining order against to whom it may concern. You know, to say nobody should come close, or, you know, just hold on, don't come near us. They will give their reasons why those things. But then the EFCC have surely said they will appeal. You can always appeal these things. It's not a Supreme Court thing. So, but just like you said, this is not a time to be on the defensive based on religion. No, there is a witch hunt of our religion. Or Lokoide is against these people. The president is against that people.
Yeah.
Or, no, it's about us. If actually you have people are doing money laundering, which is criminal, that's the question one. Now, this thing is being done to aid and abet terrorist activities. No, this is not one. And we hope the EFCC will go all the way. We are tired of media trials, just showing figures and making it to look like they are working. We've been here before severally, and then you get to know at the end of the day, the substance is not really there. And you see some of these suspected criminals and money launderers just getting a slap on their hands, or sometimes they don't even get anything at all because the EFCC don't have a solid case in which they just rush to the court. We hope this is not part of those cases. And one thing quickly that I will always refer to is the way investigations are done in other crimes. You don't see FBI, for example, running to the press with any information in which they have not concluded before they come.
Before
they are
they
done
come to
with
the
everything. So by the time they announce, there is nowhere the suspect is running to, no court that will give you that restraining order. By the time they tender whatever by the time they come to round you up and they read whatever you have done, you know, you have to just get a lawyer and just have your day in court with your log. That is justice. But sometimes you see the FCC address the crowd or the pressmen, speak, and then they get to tell you investigations are ongoing. Or they go to court to say, please give us 14 days to detain this person. Give us an additional 21 days to detain this person. And then you are wondering, why did you announce? You give these people the wherewithal to seek a way out, and that is not done. There was a particular Invictus Obi, one time like 3 or 4 years ago, that was involved in money laundering and scam. And he was even paraded as one of the promising under 30 on Forbes magazine, you remember? 30. Now people celebrated him, but EFCC had their eyes on him. Hush Puppy case is another one. They didn't say they are looking, you know, in the direction of Hush Puppy. They came to Nigeria severally. They went to Dubai severally. By the time they came for these guys, they are ready with it. So they don't have to go to court and say, please wait for us. And I think that prosecution should be that solid, rock solid, so that by the time they come to the press to say, we are on this, we've seen FCC say we are our eyes are on former governors. Or
what do you expect them to do if they are guilty?
Evelyn, have you ever had any one of them, except for maybe Daria and Jolly Yame, who are granted state pardon at the end of the day? These are the issues.
These are the issues, Femi, and we just hope for a better country because we really, honestly, have to get it right in Nigeria. All right, we go for the newspaper review, and this will be right after this break. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome. Let's check out what is going on in our nation, and the Nation newspaper will be helping us with that this morning. And like we had earlier talked about, let's see that particular headline on the EFCC's investigations ongoing on religious sect. It says here, EFCC traces 7 billion naira fraud cash to religious group. Agency uncovers faith-based groups laundering money for terrorists. And more headlines. Obaseki firms seal 228 billion naira deal on Benin Asaba Expressway. That's on page 3. And still moving on, Supreme Court lambasts ex-Adamawa rec Hudu Ari for his irresponsibility, criminality. And this actually stemming from the court judgment, the Supreme Court judgment yesterday, confirming Amadu Fintiri as the duly elected governor of Adamawa State. And Femi, talking about Hudu Ari, what about his case? Where is he now? There was a time we heard he's outside of the country. There was a time the police say that they do not know where he is. He is at large. But this case of him announcing, announcing the fake result, I should call it, when he is not the right person to do that. I mean, I haven't done that without having the electoral powers to announce the governor of Adamawa State. This case, we are still on it. We do not know where it stands as at now. That's talking about the Hudu Ari case. And away from that, CBN worries over banks' excessive forex exposure, Naira depreciation. Senate invites Cardoso. And Otedola is FBN Holdings chairman. Ahmad Abdullahi retires. Talk about Dangote Bestie there. They're both doing big things. Government to fix Marina, other Lagos shorelines, third mainland bridge ready in April. And Rumpus and Fed civil service over redeployment of permanent secretaries. Ohiolei opens bid for Ondo APC governorship ticket. These headlines on the Nation newspaper this morning.
Right, and talking about the Nation, we've just seen the Nation newspaper. So let's go to the Guardian. The Guardian newspaper, conscience nurtured by truth. Broadly reading, CBN frantically tightens noose on banks, forex operations, speculators. All right, and of course you see the bull there, or the bull and the bear, or the dollar being the bull and the bear being the Naira, trying to climb to go and meet the bull. And, figuratively there, the bull is standing very well. But the steps in which the bear, we represent the Naira, is on is quite slopey. And these represent what is really going on. Really brilliant one there. Moving on, EFCC traces 7 billion Naira to religious bodies, alleges faith leaders laundering funds for terrorists. Just like I said earlier, let it be a watertight case. Monarchs killing, Oni, George called for community policing, impute of ex-service chiefs. Right, Reps set December 2025 to deliver a new constitution. Interesting. Benjamin Carlos spoke on that. He's the chairman of that Constitution Review Committee, and he said, December 2025, I hope they start the work now and do a thorough job. Northern groups tackled Tinubu withdrawal of 3 nations from ECOWAS. Okay, I think that's deep there because trade and commerce has been affected in those states bordering Niger Republic, 5 or 6 of them like that. 1 in every 10 extremely poor people live in Nigeria, says World Bank. Again, 1 in every 10 extremely poor people live in Nigeria, says World Bank. We should begin to question these, by the way, because it becomes quite worrisome. You have India, quite a populous nation. Of course, they are doing well, but then the population is quite huge and they have very poor people. Bangladesh, some of this country, Yemen, Syria. And then it becomes worrisome when you see your nation, Nigeria, being mentioned, featured, to say 1 in every 10 extremely poor people live in Nigeria. Okay. We should do better. Women protesters in Nasarawa to pay 500,000 Naira bail after 12 days incarceration. Say that again. Women protesters in Nasarawa to pay 500,000 bail after 12 days incarceration. Why? How? Pick up a copy of this paper. And poor preparation, logistics, stall student loan scheme. How? poor preparation, logistics stall, student loan scheme. Okay, and Evelyn, you recall that when it was announced, that particular plan was greeted with excitement in some cases to say, okay, maybe there is a route in which, because it is done in the world over, by the way, and in which government gives you some kind of money for you to be educated. And after some time, maybe like 5–10 years, when you're working, you begin to return this money. At least you had the opportunity. And when it was announced, people were excited. And almost months after, it seems there is no concrete plans, because we are hearing that preparation, logistics, and it calls to question, do we just rush to announce promises and prospects without the workability? These are the issues. We are still battling with the subsidy matter. Subsidy regime or payment is gone. And here we are, 8 months later.
Yes, you know, according to that announcement by Mr. President, it was actually supposed to start off or kick off last month, January. I mean, we are in a new month, February.
Right.
It was supposed to kick off last month, January, and the stalling of that particular implementation of that particular policy was said it was because they are trying to accommodate those who are on vocational skills that are not in the formal education setting to also be given loan to acquire skills, and they will also be able to pay back. So they had to,
the apprentice kind of situation.
Yes, the apprenticeship kind of situation.
But those guys didn't just drop now.
So
why
they are trying to accommodate them, so they need representatives from the from that particular group, so that they can also be involved in the meeting. Also, the Parent Teachers Association of Nigeria, the parents are also clamoring that they have to also be in that committee and also involved in that meetings, because they are taking up decisions that affect their children. Yeah. So how will they be exempted from these decisions without their input, because they were not actually involved or called for those meetings prior to this time? So they are also clamoring to be involved in this meeting. So it's like you said, sometimes we just make announcements and preparations are not on ground, the plans are not on ground.
I learned some who have children in private schools too are saying, please extend these things to us.
So I think the government,
but the announcement has been made for quite some months
supposed to be firm on its announcement and go ahead to implement this, then later on accommodate all those who are saying we want to be involved in all of that.
Interesting one there.
But as it is, someone says there's no announcement in Nigeria that does not have a postponement date. Would always have a push forward of the implementation.
In the manner of talking. So why do this? Particularly about this administration, in which the heads of those people in charge running it out have been touted to be strategists, master planner, master thinker. Also for master thinkers,
I mean, the only thing that didn't actually have a postponement date is the removal of subsidy. The very minute the, Mr. President announced that subsidy is gone, we saw the queues in the different petrol stations, and we saw the jack-up of prices, even by the NNPC. So I wonder why that is. Why couldn't we have a postponement? And President said, okay, we've not had plans in place. Subsidy has returned. Let's just manage it for a while.
You know,
then later
as a people, we have our own issues as well. We are always, or most of us, so let me generalize, are always on that extortion line. The urge to always grab whatever we can grab. And these are the issues. He announced that thing on May 29th, around 12 p.m., 1 p.m. By 2 p.m., by 3 p.m.
that same day,
the effect, even people that have a trailer load of fuel in their tanks, you know, they adjusted. And it doesn't sound like that. We've seen in this nation which prices have been announced, price of fuel, maybe a reduction of 2 naira or 3 naira from 91 to 89 or 85. You see these guys say, never. I still have old stock. And these are the issues. That's a people problem. And I think we should do better. All of us as a people.
All right, we move over to Daily Independent newspaper for this morning. And on Daily Independent newspaper, major headline here, religious sect laundering money for terrorists. This is according to EFCC. And invites Gowon, Obasanjo, Abdusalami, others for impute against insecurity, body judge tells Tinubu. And Ibadan explosion, Makinde signs order on safe handling of harmful substances. That's on page 6. And still on page 6, we have this particular story. Femi emerges chairman of FBN Holdings. Away from that, still on page 6, Adamawa Supreme Court affirms Governor Fentiri's electoral victory. Verdict in line with expectation of Nigerians, says PDP. And on NIN, federal government dispatches evaluation teams to states, distributes enrollment devices. And court restrains police from arresting Fubara's chief of staff. That's on page 29. And $136.73 million trap fund. Nanta asks foreign airlines to open cheaper seats for travelers. CBN goes tough on forex speculation hardened by banks. And lastly, until independent newspaper for this morning, Obaseki seeks reconciliation with Wike ahead of Edo PDP Guba primary. This romance that is brewing between Minister Yesam Wike and Governor Godwin Obaseki, I really do not understand it. But the politicians, they say, not permanent friend, no permanent enemy. What you have is permanent interest.
Because interest here and there.
I mean, it's politicking time in Edo State, so you will be seeing some realignment, alignment, readjustment, and all of that.
Yeah, and realignment.
And realignment.
As well, you know. Everybody's trying to pitch their things where it will favor them. The best of them in Edo State. Lastly, today, let's look at the Punch. The Punch newspaper, before we go on this break, and boldly written, CBN orders banks to sell excess dollars in 24 hours. CBN orders banks to sell excess dollars in 24 hours. Okay, so, and individuals as well. Perhaps, Evelyn, you have some dollars hanging somewhere around the house loosely. Please make sure you do the needful.
I'm not a bank.
Before we come for you.
I'm not a bank.
You know, the kind of money or some dollars in some people's possession is sometimes is what a bank we have as well, because we've seen people throw parties and they spend dollars to show how big they are, you know, to show that we are not the Naira type, we are the dollar type. The only thing you don't see being flaunted and be thrown around at parties is pounds sterling. Somebody said maybe because he has a surname, pounds sterling. Interesting one there. But banks may sell over $5 billion, and says official. Cardoso faces Senate Tuesday over an Naira fraud. He has been invited. This invitation to me sometimes doesn't elicit excitement, because it just looks like, okay, he goes there, and so what? He just has some tete-a-tete, and that's all. All right, and the picture of House of David, or Household of David, at a particular church that went down in flames yesterday. And you can see the carcass remaining there. This is quite monumental, by the way. And the men of the Lagos State Fair Service and, you know, some passers-by when that church was going down in flames. And to hear that the church had a 3-day convention that was supposed to start yesterday. You know, the leader of the church, Pastor Shumakinde, came out and to say he blessed the Lord because no life was lost. And then the conference went down yesterday at another venue. But kudos to the men of the fire service. These first responders that we don't get to appreciate enough. Sometimes they get wounded. Some of them lose their lives as well, just trying to be helpful and find a living for themselves. So kudos to them. Now, I think Lagos State sets the pace. We can't take it away from Lagos State that they have some of these things handy. The moment something happens, they get all kind of gadgets, all kind of trucks, heavy trucks that you don't think about. Lagos State has it, and I think kudos to them for that. And I think other states as well should be ready. We don't pray for it, but be ready. It can happen. Not the situation of there is no water, there is no fuel, that sometimes we hear. Yes, House of David loses multi-millionaire Lagos church to fire. Right, out of the ashes we rise. All the best. EFCC probing Nigeria air deal. Keyamo. Interesting one there. Ekiti Obas threatening to invoke Yoruba gods against kidnappers. Makinde gives companies with explosives 72-hour ultimatum. Tinubu directs AGF Lokobiri to end $1.3 billion oil block dispute. Shareholders excited as Otedola becomes FBN holding chairman. Right, abductors flocked Ekiti school children for Paita. Saw news in which a parent was complaining that when the call was made to them, these criminals were torturing the children. And you know, it's a mental kind of torture to the parents as well. More like whatever you guys have to do, just do them.
I believe that's why they are doing what they are doing, to let them know
the
that your children are not in the best places at this time. So
the money.
You have to cough out the money, or else they continue with this torture. For small children to undergo that, we are not in a war situation. And these children are really going through a lot. I wonder what, even when they come out of this, of the abductors' den, I wonder the kind of trauma they will go through. Some of them will have PTSD. They will not want to go back to school. Some of them, they will have the fear of even traveling in a car and in a bus. You know, some of them, at the slightest sound of something, they are shaking, they are shivering. So I just pray that we bring these children back, and everything is done also to recover them mentally, because it's not a palatable situation.
Even for adults, you know, let's talk about children for that matter. And that's all. But I saw these that I read earlier. Ekiti Obas threatening to invoke Yoruba gods against kidnappers. My question is, what are you waiting for? Threatening how? These are people that are making lives unbearable. And so when there's something that you can do, why threaten them?
Do it.
Again. Okay. To all the KBSCs, you know what to do. But let our children be brought back. Their teachers, the driver I learned was kidnapped as well. Is somebody's uncle, somebody's brother,
somebody's
father, you know, or somebody's son as well. These are the issues. We hope we won't get to hear another story again of similar incidents, because you can never tell where he's next or what is next. We wish ourselves all the best in this new month. And that will be all from the front page of the Punch. And this is where we'll put a break. To go on this break, when we come back, the economy is not in the best state right now. Call it whatever it is. It is ailing. It is sick. What do we do? Where do we go from here? The Naira is on a spiral. And of course, it's not an upward spiral. It's a downward one. Are we stuck? Are we helpless? What do we do? Where are we right now? What are we doing wrongly? All these questions will be answered very shortly, but that will be after this break. The Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Stay with us. All right, you're welcome back. And the conversation, just like I said, is on the ailing situation, the ailing state of our economy. The Naira, which is a legal tender, our own legal tender is Nigeria. In Nigeria, that is not doing well at all. And many ripple effects have happened. Inflation, food inflation, in fact, is at an all-time high, almost 29%. That is where we have found ourselves. And what is really going on? When the president came in fact, before he came in, he promised that things were going to get better, right? And many persons saw him as a trained accountant, that possibly the economy is his biggest strength. But since May 29th, his decision to stop the payment or to discontinue the payment of the subsidy has come with his own challenges and concerns. And it seems things are not working, you know, and these are the issues. The Naira, especially for the past few weeks or days, has been on the low, going down, you know, especially against foreign currency, especially against the dollar. And these are the issues. Many persons are crying. They can hardly afford basic meals. Either it's 3 square or 2 square. One is not even sure. Even if it's 1 square, how squared is that square? And these are the issues. So to give us a sense of what we are having and going through is Don, a university Don, a public affairs analyst and associate professor of economic history, Obafemi Awolowo University, Ileife, Dr. Tunji Ogunyemi. He joins us from the beautiful city and the university town of Ileife. Doctor, good morning, sir.
Good morning. I can barely hear you.
Okay.
Barely hear you.
We'll try and adjust. Can you hear me now?
Yes, this is better.
All right, thank you, sir. We're in a fix right now, economically speaking, and it seems Nigerians, for many persons that are not economists, they might not know the figures, they might not know the indices. One thing that they know is that things hasn't improved for them. They are spending more to afford their basic needs, and these are the issues. Let me start with the Naira against the dollar. It appears Monday 29th, Nigeria Naira was 1,451 against the US dollar. On 30th, that Tuesday, 1,490 against the dollar. 31st, that was yesterday, 1,520 against the dollar. We don't know what today holds. What are we dealing with? Doctor, what exactly is wrong with our economy?
Well, I think it will be a sweeping statement to be using what is happening in the monetary side to judge all other things in the economic life of Nigeria. Monetary side of the economy is not the whole of that economy. You have the financial side, you have the manufacturing side, you have the industrial side, you have the mining and agriculture side, and you have the services side. I mean, if something does in the monetary side, does it mean that all of the economy has collapsed? That's not the point. That's how to measure the health of an economy. At any rate, who are the importers that are complaining? Who are the importers? Because do you use dollar in buying your yam? Do you use dollar in buying gari or buying, what do you call it, plantain? Do you use dollar in buying those things? The basic needs in Nigeria are not denominated in dollars. I think it is the problem of an import-dependent economy where we are importing petrol or importing, say, ceramics for our civil engineering construction. That's the issue. Otherwise, the ordinary man is not troubled by the high pollution figures of Naira to the dollar. What are you buying in dollar in Nigeria? What? I think we overemphasize the monetary side of the economy and then give the impression that all is not well with all of us and that the economy is in tatters. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. Yes. The truth of the economy is, one, that inflation is increasing, no doubt about that. But that inflation, which means that your disposable income is reducing, that inflation itself is driven by food. It's a food-driven inflation, essentially, which is 33.9% as we speak. So headline inflation is between 28 and 29%. That's what should concern Nigerians, how to bring down the cost of living with respect to food inflation. That's all. Why do you trouble your head with what is happening to the dollar? What are you buying in dollar? What?
Okay, Doctor, quite interesting to note. Of course, we transact in Naira in Nigeria, but then there is hardly a place you go to and people don't give you that explanation of the fact that most things are affected by it. There is a spiral and a kind of ripple effect. Whatever happens, the dollar to Naira kind of transaction to note, the person selling vegetable will tell you he or she only sells vegetable, and for he or she to afford other means, he or she has to adjust whatever he or she is selling as well.
Now you know for sure.
These are the issues.
You know for a surety that that's a lie. No vegetable in Nigeria is denominated in dollars. No, absolutely not. So if a vegetable seller or a young seller says it's because the dollar is increasing in value and Nigerian currency is depreciating, that's absolutely unacceptable because it is a lie. The truth of the matter is that most of our purchases in Nigeria, I will say 99.99%, is in Naira. So if you are not using the currency of another country to buy in Nigeria, how dare you complain that the value is changing? That is the language of the elite, the import dependent elite. Those who want to bring in, say, rice. Yes, I agree. But will not patronize the Nigerian locally produced one. That's the argument. Those who bring ceramics because they want to do tile in their homes. That's their argument. Look, until we do something about industrial production in Nigeria, 1 million CBN governor cannot make the Naira to be equal to the dollar. The problem is actually production. And that production is not just subsistence production, but industrial production. Where, for example, someone producing expients for the pharmaceutical company will require that from Osun State alone, they will need 1 million tons of cassava per week. I tell you, you cannot fulfill that kind of a demand. So you will mobilize all your productive forces to the farm, to storage, to production, to processing. That is what is going to make the economy grow. Not a dollar naira parity. What is the meaning of that? What's the meaning of that? That is for those people who are bringing in Chinese produced goods that will also be produced here in Nigeria. Please leave the language of the importers alone. Talk to Nigerians here in Nigeria. Those who are buying yarn, and I will know for sure that what is affecting the prices of goods and services today in Nigeria is transportation, essentially transportation. So, and that transportation is driven by petrol, and that petrol is imported. And the cost of that, I mean, the money for importing is dollar or euro if you like. That's all. So, no one should be making explanations as to how is gari, is cassava is expensive because the dollar is going higher. That's false explanation. There's no correlation. So let Nigerians don't know for a surety that if you bring Christine Lagarde, and that is the chief of the European Central Bank, if you bring her here and you multiply her by 1 million times, she can never make the Naira to be less than 100 naira to the dollar. It will not work. What will work is Nigerian governors, particularly Nigerian governors, running up their sleeves and being growth agents in their respective states by encouraging direct production of goods and services in their comparative advantage areas. That's the only thing. For example, can somebody please wake up the Oshobo machine tools? Is that doable? Can we please do something about bringing in the imperial chemical industry, manufacturer of Germany 20, to produce here in Ojota, here in Nigeria? Can something please be done to ensure that the capital work at least 80% in stock capacity? Can the refineries, 4 of them, be rejigged so that by June they begin to produce and we no longer import petrol? These are the things. It's not about looking for them. How many Nigerians keep dollars in their homes? It is the elite, the politicians, the very privileged civil servants who are stealing directly from the steal. Don't let us give any dent to their argument about Naira and dollar. They are the ones that will lose mostly if the Nigerian Naira appreciates. So it is in their favor for them to begin to speculate. Don't let any media, don't let us join them in their speculation, because they are not patriots. They are the enemies of the country. Don't join them.
Okay, so Doctor, I'd like to know, your explanation this morning is somewhat different from what major economists really drive at when it comes to the exchange rate, when it comes to Forex. Now, talk about the depreciation of the Naira, the devaluation of the Naira. Some people say there are advantages to these things because it makes import, it reduces import and promotes exports. But since the devaluation of the Naira since last year, we've not had an increase in our exports. In fact, we've had an exodus of multinational companies in leave Nigeria in the year 2023. Meanwhile, we are supposed to be breeding more industries, breeding more companies, production companies in our Nigeria. What is it that we are not getting right? Is it something with our policies? Is it something with government's will to do the needful?
Good. You see, ordinarily, the devaluation of the currency of a country should make imports expensive, thereby discouraging it, and export cheap, thereby encouraging it. What I see in the policy of equalizing the parallel exchange rate and the official is that it is a little hasty.
Okay.
You do not try to equalize parallel unofficial to official when your economy is essentially not a productive one. The Nigerian economy is not very productive. Reason? The infrastructure for production are not there. And what are these infrastructure? Good roads, electricity, running water, security. If we can fix these things significantly, you can't fix it all, but at least significantly, so that at least between 8 a.m. in the morning and 5 p.m. in the evening, all Nigerian homes and businesses have electricity. I tell you that more than half of our unemployment rate will be wiped out. It will be wiped out. We have not fixed this one, and yet we have begun to make our currency to float. That is the mistake there. That's the mistake. And the people who hold foreign currency in their hands here in Nigeria, politicians, powerful government officials, very privileged civil servants, those who do round tripping, including employees of the CBN, particularly those employees who are children of the politically exposed. They are the most unpatriotic human beings in the world. They are the ones putting the Naira under pressure. And the government will proceed against them physically, apprehend them, prosecute them, jail them. So unless and until we do that, that is, make the conditions for production to be possible, following Rothstone's theory. The preconditions for takeoff in Nigeria are just so there. For example, if I say I want to prepare 10 hectares of land in Osun State, my beloved state of local, if I want to prepare 10 hectares, please, where is there tractors, bulldozers, hand movers that I can go and hire at a subsidized government rate that will help me? Answer: zero. No, absolutely no. So even if I want to go into agricultural production, the infrastructure to do it is not there. Now, second, if I want to be getting scrap iron, melt them and use it to produce iron rod, you will need electricity or coal. Now, where is the electricity in Osun State? Such that for a period not less than 6 hours at a go, I can get electricity. You know the answer? Zero. It does not exist. And it does not exist anywhere in Nigeria. That is the problem. That's what we need to fix. In 4 months' time, by the time this government will be 1 year, then we will look at this area and analyze it very well. And let the government know that you don't put the cart before the horse. Full stop.
All right, Doctor, you've been able to establish 2 things here. First is timing. You feel the timing where the Naira was floated is wrong. We should have put in place, ensured that Nigeria is a producing nation and not majorly a consuming nation before doing that. And also saboteurs, they should be prosecuted. They should be named, prosecuted, so that we can have a good country. But I'd like to further ask you, Dr. Ogunyemi, the investors' confidence at this time in our country, if you are to rate it in percentage over 100, the investors' confidence, what will you give it at this time?
I would say that investors are significantly frustrated by the unstable socio-economic system. That's number one. And then two, by significant level of insecurity and apprehension, such that if you measure the trajectory between 0 and 10, I would say investors' confidence in the northeast of Nigeria is less than 5. Investors' confidence in the troubled southeast of Nigeria is less than 5. Investors' confidence in the bandit-infested northwest of Nigeria is less than 3. That's less than 3 out of 10. Investors' confidence in the north central of Nigeria, in the others bedeviled north central of Nigeria, is less than 1. Less than 1 out of 10. Almost 0. It is only in the southwest of Nigeria that investors' confidence have been significantly measured as being above 5 out of 10. So we have significant troubles on our hands. And you cannot fix investors' confidence until you first of all fix physical security, that's kinetic, and financial security, including monetary. Until you do that, such that when people put their money in the bank, hypothetically 1 million, 6 months after, they will not be told that the value of that 1 million is less than 600,000 naira. I hope you know now that it will be sheer lack of economic sense to be saving money in the bank. Why will you go and save money in the bank when you will lose at least 10% of the value within 6 months? At least 10. I'm talking conservatively. So if investment, if savings is not encouraged, where will investment come from? Because you invest from your savings. Anyway, it's like we're in that space. And it takes the singularity of her for all hands to be on deck, including calling upon Macedonia to help you. In other words, there cannot be opposition in Nigeria now. There's no luxury of opposition. Because if this ship sinks, we are all done for.
All right, Doctor, that is a very, very strong one. And I'd like to ask now, inflation in May, when President Tinubu took over, was around 22% or thereabout, 22.22%. And right now is oscillating between 28.92 and 29. One will say, okay, the inflation has been there, but the increase in just 7-8 months has been quite astronomical, like every day. I'm not even talking about the ironing window of the dollar to naira now, as in what we do every day, what we buy every day, like it's on a daily. Before you could say, okay, by next month or in 2 months things will increase, but it's now on a daily. And Nigerians are groaning, Doctor. They are. We speak to them, we take reports, we take public opinions, and people are in a fix. Are there quick fixes to these things? What can we do? People are crying. Doctor.
There are no quick fixes, not even one. No low-hanging fruit. You are going to be, the question is going to be in this doldrum, I tell you, as I said it earlier in the year, for a period not less than 24 months. 2 years you will be in this doldrum. Reason, the real engine of growth in the Nigerian economy are mining, that's oil, crude oil production, 2, agriculture, and 3, the services. But more important is the mining side. Now, if your OPEC quota is 2.2 million barrels, and you are only able to do 1.2, 1.3 million barrels per day, it means your profit shorting is something in the neighborhood of about 40%. You are in real trouble. So Nigeria's revenue is declining. I suspect that many civil servants do not know now that we are actually in dire straits with respect to revenue of Nigeria. Revenue is declining, and we are not earning enough to cover our expenditure. So that's number one. So you are going to have a system where salaries will be regular. Forget it. That's even after being collected, your disposable income, the value, what that salary can buy, will be less than, will be at least 30% less than what you could do last year. That's settled. Now go to the area of agriculture. Where are the infrastructure to do agriculture? Where is it? They don't exist, except at the level of the private sector provision. And the third, services. That one is bedeviled by monetary problems. So we look, it is not a good thing for one thing to look at to set the outlook of a country, particularly its own country, where it belongs, where his children and all that they have are in, and then they begin to give apocalyptic statements. The truth of the matter is that we don't even have any option now. We just have to keep a positive spirit. Otherwise, you injure yourself fundamentally. Fundamentally.
And back to these naira to dollar, situation. I read something the other time. 29th on Monday, 1,451. Tuesday, 1,490. Wednesday, that was yesterday, 1,520. And we learned the CBN governor, Mr. Cardoso, saying through the CBN that they are going to go after speculators, people who are speculating. I'd like to ask you, Doctor,
yes,
as a person of knowledge for years, how much of a speculation is that problem of this, the devaluation in which we are seeing in this naira, increase every day. Who are these speculators? What do they tend to gain? Does the government know them? Why are they not going after them?
Thank you. The loss in value of the naira is traceable, 90% of it, to speculation. Mere speculation. People just sit down somewhere and then do a projection and say that in the next 2 months, it's like the dollar will be 2,000 naira to the dollar. That's all. That's what it takes. That's no one on that. The person only needs to be influential to be either a bank owner or a director or a hooker of a bureau such that he can mobilize at least about $1 million. It's because it's influential. It's just ordinary speculation, just to say it in press, that he thinks that in the next 6 months, the naira will be 2,000 to the dollar. It's enough for the money market to catch that speculation and begin to act on it. 90% of the loss of Nigeria's naira in value is speculation, not real production. And you know what? You cannot proceed against them in law because they are speculating. Because speculating is not an offense. It's not known to the Nigerian law. Under the trafficking, whatever currency are, it is not known. Somebody goes on air, and please let us not use the highly respected the hail wave of rain as well as western spring to do any speculation. If you bring any financial analyst to your system and he says he thinks that and he begins to speculate, it is enough for the market to catch fire, catch cold simultaneously, and then begin to hoard the currency. That's all. That's why the bank, the central bank gave yesterday a marching order on the major banks in Nigeria to say, one, that they are what there's something called new open position. No, it is an instrument, a monetary instrument, which banks use to calculate the difference between their net foreign exchange assets and their net foreign exchange liabilities. What these banks do speculatively is that they will assume that they must always have their foreign currency assets far in excess of their liabilities. The CBN has now said your foreign currency assets must not exceed 20% now. It must not exceed 20% of your liabilities. Because these banks will be holding this currency with a view to benefiting from the volatility in the exchange rate. Now, the ordinary man the ordinary man may just see what I'm saying as pure grammar. Yes, he doesn't talk to him. The reason is that it's not his business. It doesn't concern him. Because the currency traders know themselves, government knows them, and you know what the CBN said, the governor said, Kadoku. He said some of them are within the central bank itself, speculating. Some of them hold a broad outside, and they are using round tripping and their privileges to forex money to their provision and then speculate thereafter. It's not an offense to speculate, but I tell you, it causes incalculable damage to the Nigerian currency, the Naira.
All right, Doctor, we had a report yesterday. You talk about the CBN governor, Mr. Olayemi Cardoso, saying that banks to sell their, to stabilize nation's volatile exchange rate, that the central bank has ordered the DMBs to sell their excess dollar stock latest today, February 1st, 2024. I'd like to ask for the importance of that. How does this help in any way?
Oh, beautiful. I'm surprised that Mr. Yemi Cardoso had not taken this decision as early as January. I mean January 1. The truth of that, this will help significantly.
Okay.
If you could say it could wipe out at least about 30% of the illegal gains of the politician and wicked speculators, it could wipe it out. This is how it operates. Banks have foreign exchange liabilities. There's no doubt about that. But they also have foreign exchange assets. If they were to be patriotic people, not interested only in profit, the ratio of their assets in forex to their liability in forex should actually be zero. That is, if they have liability of $1 billion American dollars, their assets should not exceed $1 billion American dollars. But you know what the banks really do? Because they benefit from holding long-term net open position. They will now hold foreign exchange about $10 billion American dollars when their liability is just about $1 billion American dollars.
Amazing.
The difference, that is $9 billion American dollars, is what the CBN called excess open position. That's excess. And that excess, if they sell it between now, if they dispose of it between now and the next 2 days, just the next 2 days, you will see that the Naira will bounce back to about 1,000 Naira to $20. It will bounce back.
So it's a positive move.
Yes.
Amazing.
All right, Doctor, you remember like a few years ago, you know, the CBN under Gordon Emefiele then, when these issues occurred, although not as high as these, and I'm talking about the Naira to $1 value now, and they had to say, okay, maybe the Bureau de Change operators, excuse me, in Abuja, that they had to cut down trees, I remember, because they say these trees provide shade for Bureau de Change operators to do their business, and they are wreaking havoc. So trees have to be cut down is a major part of Abuja so that the Bureau de Change operators, the personnel will not have where to stay. And then there was this Aboki Forex at that time that was said to be a Forex speculator online. The channel had to be brought down, the page had to be, you know, removed on Twitter in order to control these things. People will say those things that under the Emefiele regime was done, maybe there were reasons why they did it, but they never helped at all. Because cutting down of trees, shutting down of speculators' page on social media, how was that of a help? And now there is another policy in place trying to curb these things. When you just oppose those two policies, because it was done by the CBN at the same time, are they not almost the same?
At times when people refer to the trader, Godwin Emefiele,
you call him a trader?
Yeah, he was a trader. I mean, a trader that was in the central bank.
How so?
So, yeah, and such a trader will, of course, take decisions that will favor his trading, buying and selling. So I don't want to dignify his statement with any response. How many trees will you cut down in Lagos? 8.5 out of 10 currency transactions in Nigeria happen in Lagos. Lagos alone, just Lagos alone. How many trees are in the streets of Lagos, in Broad Street, in Mandilas? How many of them are in Opebi, in Ailing? How many will you find in Ohiolei? Let's just leave the Emefiele and all these illegalities alone. The truth of the matter is that speculation is living. If government can find a way to cut down on speculation to the social media, by all means, they should take it. But to begin to say you are talking about cutting down trees, how many trees will you cut down in Sabo to reduce the value of the Naira to the dollar? I think that's just too elementary.
Quite
the real issue is that even if you put Nigeria on a hill and you roll her to the down, to the base, nothing will do significantly anything to the Naira coming close to about 800 Naira to the dollar. It will not happen. What will make it happen is a long-term venture, a long-term project, which is industrial production. Not just any kind of production, industrial production. And our centers of industrial production, as we speak, are either epileptic or dead. Either epileptic or dead.
Or dead.
Number one, refinery. You have 4. One is now technically being reopened to come on stream. Only one. That one can only deliver 60,000 barrels per day, just 60,000. The need of the country per day is 350,000 barrels per day. So you know you are not even getting close at all. Dangote, that just came in to help save the life of the Naira, which we have been using the Naira to buy petrol, and therefore reducing the value of the Naira. Dangote that just came in, instead of going to our area of need, which is petrol, is producing the area of need of his colleagues in the elite industry of aviation by producing aviation fuel and diesel, the one that is more expensive. So he's not interested in trying to assuage the fears or the problems of Nigerians. It is to produce the higher one, diesel, that is his interest.
But Doctor, we believe that Aliko Dangote is a businessman and not Father Christmas. He will definitely work towards what benefits him. But he's also in Nigeria.
His wealth comes directly from our Commonwealth.
Now, the construct, remove Nigeria from Aliko Dangote. It will fall down to zero today. Today. He built that refinery with a loan of about $30 billion American dollars directly from the central bank, our central bank. Yes, you can say he has paid more than 80% off, but he took it from our central bank. Why did he go to Martin? Why did he go to the Paribas in France to go and borrow at a higher rate of 41%? The central bank of Nigeria gave him that loan. Do you know the percentage of interest? 3.03%. So how dare he be doing a thing that is not helping the economy? We are not saying he should not make his profit. If he produces petrol, will he not make profit? But he has decided to be producing aviation fuel and diesel. Can you see?
Doctor,
yes. The highest stage.
Dr. Ogunyemi, what we want to say, because to corroborate what you are saying, I remember former governor of the CBN, Godwin Emefiele, the launch of that refinery when Mr. Buhari, former President Buhari was about leaving. Emefiele confirmed what you said and said it was supported hugely by the CBN, and that although he has paid almost 70% of the loan back at the time, yes. And what we want to say, these big nations, IMF, the other lenders, they don't give you money without conditions. What we want to say, didn't the Nigeria, through the CBN, give him conditions at that time that if we are going to support you, these and these are what you are going to do to help the Nigerian market?
Well, on the condition that he would produce and not less than 30% of his production will go for the supply for domestic consumption. He will still sell it. Not less than 30% will go for industry. That's all. At any rate, we are only talking about even the monetary or the financial kind of support.
Yeah.
What of the land? A land of about 10 hectares that Lagos State government gave to Dangote at the cheapest place in the world. What of the people that were displaced from those lands so that I could build the company? Did he build the company on air? So the support the Lagos State government alone has given to Dangote refinery and petrochemical is almost 60% of the total assets that he has there. Can you please go and build it in the air somewhere in Abuja and see how easy it will be?
All right. Yeah.
We should be frank about certain things.
Right. Right. That's right. Let me quickly go back to the inflation matter. Doctor, let's talk about food inflation and security at the same time. Because the real and ugly incidents that we have been seeing, especially farmers' herders issues, has always been there. The kidnappings across board now, with the FCT not being saved, the North Central, you said it the other time, is a no-go area. No investors who want to come there. Now, we're not even talking about investors. People that are resident there, farmers there are having issues. Ekiti, just our neighbors here, had some kidnappings just a few days ago. Monarchs were killed, school children kidnapped. How much of a problem is security to food inflation in Nigeria? And is there any light at the end of the tunnel? Doctor, please give it to us.
Insecurity to food production in Nigeria is 100% of the problem. There's nothing to say about it. Remove insecurity and food production will rebound. That's to answer that. Two, with respect to insecurity in many parts of Nigeria, the truth and the reality is now coming home to roots now with us. That great Nigeria, Olufalai, the Kabiyesi and the Oba of Iluabu in Ondo State, has a document. He submitted that document 10 years ago to the Obafemi Awolowo University, Faculty of Arts, in which he advocated for true federalism. The solution to the insecurity in this country, I give you the point straight, is institution of state police. The concentration of power from the Nigerian police and allowing regional, state, local government, and town police. Full stop.
All right, Doctor. Of course, a lot of stakeholders and policymakers have called for state policing and also urged Mr. President, President Bola Tinubu, to also see to that. I would like to shift away from insecurity and food security and move over to revenue, national revenue. Recently, there was an audit report for the NNPCL, and in that report, Nigerians actually saw or questioned a whole lot of things, saying that there is a whole lot of rot going on in NNPC. And in fact, the former CBN governor and ex-emir of Kano State, His Eminence Sanusi Lamido Sanusi, in recent times have continued to ask that where is the dollars, made by the NNPCL. According to him, he said that NNPC is the most opaque oil industry in the world. Now, Doctor, I'd like to ask you, is it true that we have some discrepancies, some questionable operations in the NNPCL? Talk about, the discrepancies, irregularities in this industry. That's one question. I have two more for you, but I'd like you to touch on this first.
It is because we have the problem with NNPC. Okay, let me say it this way. The problem with the CBN, is that it has the problem of under-reporting revenue. That's CBN itself. With respect to storage, that's the area. Storage is the income, is what you earn, federal government earns from producing the Naira note. The difference between the face value and the actual value is called storage. It's an exclusive federal revenue for the federal government. The CBN has not accounted for it since 1973, when the Naira began. That's number one. That CBN that is not that accountable is pointing a finger at another superbly unaccountable government agency, NNPC. And what is the problem with NNPC? Under-reporting revenue, where particularly what is called JVCC, joint venture cash calls. Joint venture cash calls are ventures in which the federal government, together with the international oil companies, IOCs, get involved in. The government will supply its own part, and the IOC will supply the technical part. Now, 80% of the projects are not audited. I tell you, on the authority of my own, 80% not audited. In fact, the NNPC itself has not audited its account for 10 years. 10 years until Mele Kyari came. That's deal until he came. So, I think we can even summarize Nigeria's problem as equal to NNPC's mismanagement. Full stop.
All right, so my question, second question is, how badly has the NNPC disrupted our foreign exchange inflow and also our national revenue? And thirdly, that question that His Eminence Lamido Sanusi has continued to ask, where are the dollars made by NNPC?
There is no way we can know where the dollars being made by the NNPC.
But who is supposed to be interrogating this? Who is the person or the organization saddled to be interrogating this, as regards the dollars made by the NNPC?
Good. 3 institutions. The Ministry of Finance Incorporated, the board of the CBN, and 3, the board of the NNPC. But if the board of the NNPC is in the pocket of the leaders of the country, where is the question to have? The question to have is by asking a cat to guide very well a pot of fried meat. You are asking a cat to guide very well a pot of fried meat. I mean, self-defeating.
All right.
That's the problem.
Yeah, Doctor, as we round off gradually, I'd like to ask you in concrete terms. We've spoken on this matter before, and that you know, the current economic team of Mr. President or Mr. Cardoso, the FRS man, Mr. Ohiolei, Mr. Edun, and the rest of them, many persons are impatient with them, and because this seems things are not working, they might not understand the indices and the grammar and the IMF and the NNPCL and every critical stakeholders. They just want to afford basic needs. That's what an average Nigerian needs. Now, you as a professional in this particular climate, are you still hopeful about the current economic team of Mr. President to turn things around?
I'm very, very hopeful with respect to my country. And that is not talking from empty patriotism. I'm talking from the facts that are available, the possibility of good leadership coming from the combination of Wale Edun and Yemi Cardoso, and then significant leadership being provided by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation to apprehend, prosecute, and ensure that they keep safely away from Nigeria's past all the wicked people that are contained in its financial and monetary agencies. I am positive that Nigerian economy is fixable, our economy is doable, and we are growing.
Yeah.
There's no problem about that. It is possible to help this country and wake it up.
Yes, but many Nigerians are, growing impatient. I said it. And so I'd like to ask you, I know you're not directly part of the team, but how long should Nigerians wait? These are the questions. Many persons are saying, you are telling us to tighten our belt, you're telling us to be patient, but on the other side, you guys are living large, you are having everything that you need to run your office. But they are not having that. How long should they wait?
Beautiful.
How long should they wait?
Where Nigerians can come in. Nigerians can come in either by withdrawing the mandate they have given to any leader they perceive, and of course working on evidence that leader is wasteful of public funds. For example, how many...
Doctor, is Doctor still with us?
We'll try and reconnect. I think there's one point that we can't afford to lose. He has to make that point. The backroom boss, we reconnect with Doctor because Evelyn, tighten your belt. Austerity is there. Be patient. The reward you will repeat. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Someone will say the tunnel is even no more available. Need to talk about the light. And you can't, I'm not sure it's ever right to describe Nigerians as impatient right now. The facts are there. They are not even asking for luxury. Exactly. They just want to be alive.
Exactly. It's a very, very dire situation. Like Doctor said, we are in a dire strait at this moment, and we just have to get it right. Yeah. If we do not want to drown, we just have to get it right. And, Nigeria, we pride ourselves as being the giant of Africa. We feel we are too big to drown. But with all what Doctor has said this morning, it shows that no fish is too big to drown. To put it in that context, I know fishes live in water. I'm just saying it as to how dire it is at the moment. We need to get things in place. I mean, talk about the issue of unnecessary spendings and expenses. We know that the president traveled to France some days ago, and we saw some officials, some leaders, some governors go to bid him farewell at the airport there. And the next thing we are seeing, this same set of people travel to Paris to pay a courtesy visit to the president in Paris. I'm wondering, you bid him farewell when he was going. So everything and anything you're supposed to say to him, why can't he not wait till when he comes back, or tell him before he leaves? Why do you have to travel all the way to Paris with taxpayers' money to pay a courtesy visit.
What exactly do they want to tell him? That they can't
to
call him
Mr.
on
President.
phone?
I mean,
it's
one thing when Mr. President goes anywhere. Remember when he came back to Lagos, that's his home state, to actually relax for the holidays. We saw how leaders made Lagos,
Like a
Mecca.
Yeah.
They had to travel there to pay a courtesy visit. They had to travel there to wish him well. They had to travel there to extend greetings to him.
From Oyo, somebody from
to what importance is that visit, really? To what importance is that visit?
I was almost saying, I don't even care the importance. The thing is, can we afford it? Those travels at this time, because you are telling us adjust your lifestyle. If there is anything even still remaining to adjust right now, because that's it. Amazing. You can't. People are choking, and that's it. And so, but whatever you need, the paraphernalia of your office is being kept to run. Everything must be needed. The SUVs are there, laptops, buildings, chairs, personnel.
New ones, by the way.
What?
I said new ones, by the way.
That is it. You should have it, but people on the street should please be patient. How patient can they be? And these are the issues that we keep asking every day. It seems the connection is not connecting, for me to use the Gen Z kind of language this morning. But we want to sincerely thank Dr. Tunji Ogunyemi. He has been with us, and he has really done justice to the conversation this morning about the ailing state of our economy. He is an associate professor, an economic historian, and of course a lawyer. He is with and of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Ileife. We are most grateful, Doctor, for joining us. And as well, we tried to reach out to other stakeholders, but then it is what it is. Thank you for being part of the program. Today, it's about our nation. Evelyn, that's what we do here every day. To have discussions, frank and deep ones, towards having a better and a working nation that we are proud of. Please endeavor to join us and follow us on our social media platforms, on X, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And this program, right now, we are on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television, and of course on channel 190 on StarTimes DTT. May Nigeria prosper in our time and beyond. Femi Ojo is my name. Happy New Month.
Amen to your prayers, and remember, people, we keep hoping even against all hopes, and no hope is meager. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei. Stay tuned for Spring Trends coming right after this broadcast.